Silence speaks louder than words could ever. Join us as we dive into issue 21 with our special guest, Destro is my spirit animal, right now on our G.I. Joe Real American Hero reaction series.
And before we go live, smash that like button, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a beat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits. I'm Michael, and with me each week is Soundtracks with Birdman. Birdman, how's it going today?
It's, man, like one of the best comic books ever. I wanted to say written, but let's say ever drawn, because there are no words in it.
Word. Awesome. So something tells me you're excited to dive into this one.
I am, because I think when I was trying to convince you to go down this road, I mentioned I'm like the silent issue number 21. You have to like read it. You had no idea what I was talking about, and I was like, how, God, how can you not know? Oh, like if you just look at like a list of like top, whatever comics ever done, this will be almost every list.
Okay, all right.
It's like that, groundbreaking, and it's just because no one had time to write any damn dialogue.
Well, that's awesome.
It was late in production, and they're like, dude, we got to make the date. We don't have time to do it. Just release it. And
we'll get into all that, and yeah, we can bring on our special guest if you would do the honors with the introduction as you wet your whistle.
Yes, I'm very excited. We have our first guest co-host. Destro is my spirit animal. Really great YouTuber, makes awesome content. He owns a USS flag, and he owns every issue of this comic book, bagged and board, from his childhood, which is why I hate you right now, but I'll get over it.
Well, welcome, Destro is my spirit animal. So happy to have you on, especially for this issue. The Birdman has talked it up really, really great. But how are you doing this evening?
Good. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, this is great, especially on the possibly the greatest issue of the entire run.
Wow.
Maybe.
Probably
considered generally the greatest issue, I would say. It's the one everybody talks about, right? I mean, but yeah, I love it. So
that's awesome. Yeah, so I think I've said this a few times on these streams, but yeah, we're going through I'm going through the comics and reacting to them for the very first time. And so it's interesting for me, just growing up and having watched the cartoon, and like that's all I know in my head. So it's like getting to this point, and the Birdman's like, oh, okay, well, after this one, it gets pretty freaking awesome. Like, I think they probably found their stride after this issue, and it just goes up from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some awesome stuff before there too, but that's cool. To Birdman, were you a fan of the comics versus cartoon? Where were you at as a kid?
I had the comic first. My grandmother would read them to me at first, and then I got older and I could read them myself. But she would get them for me, usually at the drugstore in town. And this is what got me into comic books, because from here I went to Spider-Man, to the Avengers, to Thor.
Oh wow.
And but G.I. Joe was like the gateway drug for comic books. And then I'm sure you, Destro, remember you couldn't advertise toys right at first in the 80s, but they could advertise the comic book with the little cartoons. Right. Remember those? Oh, man, yeah. And then we got the cartoon, and I was like, the cartoon's a little bit different from the comic book, but that's okay, But I think I always preferred, you made that video, what's canon, what's not, comparing the cartoon and the comic.
Yeah.
To me, like my canon was an offshoot of the comic book, I think.
Yeah, I think mine too, with a little bit. The one thing I think the comic book misses, which I don't love about it, which I'm like obsessed with it, but is he really loves Snake Eyes so much. He does. So in love with Snake Eyes and Scarlet and Stalker, Destro, the Baroness, and he didn't give a shit about anybody else. Shipwreck doesn't do anything. Possibly one of everybody's favorite characters, Shipwreck.
I don't like Shipwreck. Just for the record.
Oh, Well, from the cartoon anyway.
Yeah.
Shipwreck is the most lecherous of all of the characters, which is kind of makes him fun. He's like the most likely to sexually harass women.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Which he does in the cartoon. Well, you were Michael. You were a fan of the cartoon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He does
exactly.
it all the time.
Yep.
He's the Captain Kirk in the cartoon.
Except all the women like Captain Kirk right away, and the women are a little like, I don't know.
Yeah,
about
that's
So did you collected and read comics as a kid and also played with the toys as well?
Yeah, I was big into comics. I guess it probably was because that commercial comes on. I think that did boost Marvel's sales a lot because it was one of the best subscription. I think it was like their best selling subscription title or something.
This saved them from bankruptcy in the early 80s.
Oh, it's crazy,
wow.
right? Yeah.
Dang.
But even just like being able to, why putting a commercial on TV. So I read it all from day one. I remember like walking into the local grocery store and seeing the G.I. Joe like issue 1 and snagging it right away. And just kind of, I think it had already had the toy. So I'm not sure the timeline there, but I believe I already had the toy. And so I was like, oh, there's a story because it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, somebody with the toy, you're looking at it. I'm like I had the first one I ever got was Short Fuse, and he has a mortar. And I was like, what the hell is that? I put it, I think he was riding it like a jetpack. I had no idea what it did.
You make it up as you go along, right?
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah. They were, the toys were super fun. I remember having these all out battles with, I had Cobra and G.I. Joe on one side of the family room, and just like the things I would cook up in my head, but not even getting exposed to the comic, from the cartoon. And man, you're right. When those commercials came on, that was just like, holy crap. It's like the toys. And did they also advertise the comic on TV too, or?
They did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, where? I don't remember any of that. I'm like, where was I as a kid? Because like I was glued to the TV, but I don't remember them advertising the comic.
And I don't even know if they ever was that the first. Did they advertise comics on TV before that? I don't know. In the first one, right? Yeah.
And then I think they advertised the Transformer comic.
Okay.
But I don't remember any other comics getting commercials.
Yeah, so I think it was like a special thing. So that's why, one of the reasons why it blew up, it was like their little loophole allowing them to.
Yeah. And this really set the groundwork for the entire 80s of multi-marketing of toys. You had a toy, you had a comic, you had a cartoon, you had a lunchbox, you had pajamas. you had to have everything. It wasn't just like, here's a toy. Right. It's like, here's the toy, here's everything else that goes with it. This is what kicked off everything.
Yeah, and if you didn't have a good cartoon, you're screwed. Like I think. It was like the ones that didn't have that cartoon to back them up flopped. Like Sectors had a 5 episode cartoon, and it just was. It's actually pretty good. And it flopped.
Yeah, I love the toys. I love the heck out of them, and I was so sad when I couldn't find them in the stores anymore. It's like, yeah, the cartoon gets canceled, the toy line gets canceled, and done.
So sad. Yeah,
those were fun. That's awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us in the chat as well. If you're here, do a sound off. We have a regular crew that tunes in every week too. We got a Joe Fan 84, Jedi Ben is in the house. Brian King, issue 85 was nice, but not as cool. I will get there in probably a year of doing this or more.
Yeah.
We have a King Liono's channel as well. He said, I like the comic because it had real bullets and more ninja oh boy, there's the ninjas. Ninja action than the cartoon, and characters actually got killed, so you never knew who was going to survive. I like that. Yeah. So yeah,
remember when Doc got killed? Spoiler.
Yeah, I've heard that plenty of times, so I'm just gonna wait. I'll be surprised when I don't think I know the issue where he gets killed, so there it is. Thanks, Jedi Ben. That's okay.
It's very
110. Sad. I thought it was lower than that, but wow.
It'll be a few years until I get there, so I'm gonna my adult brain will probably forget. by then. So
It's a sad
Snake Eyes
moment.
and Storm Shadow didn't forget.
I think what happens is Larry Hama like loses his shit and just decides to kill. He's like, they're gonna let me kill people, and he just kills everybody in one issue. It's just not to give that
Wow.
that's a spoiler.
No, I mean, I've heard all this stuff here and there. You know, from we cover like classified on our our regular weekly live stream and stuff like that, and kind of a lot of the toy lines that we're passionate about, and I've heard that over the years too, so it's all good. That's cool. So when this issue came out, like up until this point, every issue has had words, and like, okay, do you remember where you were when you first opened this issue, and kind of what was your reaction to it? I'm gonna go around. Let's start with you, Destro.
Yeah, I just remember being blown away by the issue. I think especially the end reveal. Although, should I not give that? You are you going to read it right now in front of us, or have you read it already?
Oh no, we'll go through like what we do is we'll go through like page by page, but I think everybody on here and knows what happens anyways. But you can
like, to me that was the coolest thing. I've been considering getting the tattoo, someday. I haven't done it yet because I don't have tattoos, but I think that planted that in me, and just it had so much more. I think it's what I love about G.I. Joe is there's a sort of Game of Thrones, good guy, bad guy drama going on with like love stories. And it was like the first time you really saw Scarlet and her love for Snake Eyes, and and then the connection between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, which was like, oh my God, my mind was blown. Of course, then you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And so I was, waiting for the next issue.
Yeah, and apparently neither did Larry, as I was doing my homework on it this year too. So you learn a bunch of stuff when you start to do your homework. What about you, Birdman?
I love the artwork. You can tell a story just visually without words, and this is a wonderful example of it. But I remember thinking like it was like a defective comic because I'm like, oh, they didn't print the words in here. And right. you didn't have an internet to like check out the internet. Like, dude, like, did anyone get one with words?
Yeah.
But because my grandmother, she's like, this one doesn't have any words in it, and I'm like, okay. So I just looked at the pictures, but I always thought it's just, oh, they just forgot to print the words.
Yeah. What about you, Destro? Like, were you like curious at all as to like where the words went, or were you just like, okay, let's do this?
I was ready for it. Yeah, I was definitely ready for it. I remember, I wonder if it was even, did they say it was coming the month before in the little letter to the editor bit? No,
it was like they ran out of time and they had to go to print.
Yeah,
and that was because it was supposed to have dialogue.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, like, I guess from an interview he did, they had to make an entire issue in 3 weeks, starting from nothing. And so this is how the words never made it. But it was interesting to hear just Larry Hama's like creation process, because I didn't really know how he laid everything out and then penned everything. And it's funny because he doesn't describe himself as a writer, which is interesting. It's because of the way that he does it. He just says that he describes, he'll illustrate everything and then he'll describe the series of pictures in words. And I was like, that's brilliant. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't.
I guess he's like a big layout artist too. He did layouts for like thousands and thousands of comics and laid out the covers too.
Okay.
So he just has a good sense of like visual storytelling. So I think he's the guy. If you want to do something like this, he's the perfect person to do it.
That's crazy, because like my mind doesn't work this way. And I think as a kid, like, I didn't enjoy reading a ton, and so I think this is probably why I probably passed up a lot of the comics. But I really enjoyed this issue because it didn't have any words and I didn't have to read anything. But I guess looking back at it from, you know, first seeing this as a kid and kind of now reliving this, like, did your impressions change, or kind of did they change over the years, or did they just get did they get better?
I think to me, yeah, probably now it's probably overblown in my head as of how great it is. But because you know it's been copied and done a million times since. But no, I mean I think it's amazing. I think it really does tell a story visually very well. Like it's the layout is great. I also love the way Snake Eyes just sort of stalking through the, you know, silent castle, killing people. That's like this. That's the kind of Snake Eyes I like. You know.
There you go.
So no, it's perfect. And it's got so much drama for a thing that has no words. You know, I think, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we'll get into the pages pretty soon. But Birdman, what about you? Did your impression change over the years, or?
I think it's a beautiful comic. Like there's certain panels in other comics that I still remember, like in Craven's Last Hunt, which spans 6 issues. There's this one page, and Spider-Man's got to go out for the night, and there's like Mary Jane comes in, and she's like, Peter, and he looks at her, and she comes over and she touches his face, and he takes her hand, and then boom, he jumps out the window. And I'm just like, dude, that right there needs to be framed and put on a wall. And it conveys everything and on that one page. And this, like the entire story, is conveyed just with words and the way it's staged and the flow of it. Because I was looking at it again today, and I was just like, dude, this is just like so perfect.
Yeah.
This was the easiest story I could grok so far. So that's telling you a lot from somebody who finds it hard or difficult to read. But we got a Visual Interactive joining us. He said, I watched one of your movies. It was great. Is he talking about you, Destro? Did you make a movie?
Oh, I have kind of made a movie, but I made a Cold Slither animated.
Oh,
behind the music.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Are you talking about that video I made with Zorana?
You knew it was going to come
up. That's behind a paywall. So
there is, by the way, a Baroness, a Pornhub Baroness, by the way.
Oh, no way.
Not even kidding. Yeah. Haven't seen it. Not saying I watched it. I'm just saying I did.
Rumor has it.
If I was to watch that kind of thing.
Yes. We got Toy Habits crew member Allison Troy slipping in. Greetings, Miss Allison. We also have Steve M joining us. I barely enjoyed reading books, which was me, but I love reading comics. And when issue 21 came out, I must have reread that a dozen times in the week that it came out. Well, it's such cool memories to have. And it's funny, like I don't have those memories, so I'm like, I'm just going to create them now.
Well, you know what, to support your like not wanting to read, Michael, is sometimes you read a comic and you're like, they just are filling time. Like you can tell they're just densely filling it with words to just make it, I don't know, they got a word quota or something. It's like it's got 7 times as many words as you need. And you're like, sometimes when my eyes glaze over, I'm just like scanning through and just like get through it, you know.
Okay. Just all right. Muscle memory kicked in. But let's take a look at the cover. So it's got Snake Eyes on the cover, and it says the most unusual G.I. Joe story ever. Is that just because it has 0?
One note on the cover is I remember hearing Larry say, so they did a re-release, and he redid the cover himself. And he was like, yeah, this one I don't like this cover. He's like, I don't like, where's that rope? Where's the rope anchoring from? Like, how's that working? Why is it on a slant? If the rope, like, why is he, and why are his feet not planted? He completely did a new one that fixed all those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I saw something where there's what, like 3 different, maybe 2 other versions of this comic book cover. There's like one that was an homage to this, which totally redid the whole entire animation or the illustration too.
Oh yeah,
that I saw too. But yeah, I guess if you're penning this and illustrator like penciling this, then you probably have a lot of critiques looking back at it, like whatever 40 years ago or 45 years ago. But yeah, we got the title Silent Interlude, which is very apropos, and holy crap, that Cobra Castle is freaking cool.
When are they gonna HasLab that castle, man?
Yeah, right. Same thing.
Dude, if they did that, I would totally I would just throw my Eternia off the table and be like, okay, something like move over, bacon, something meteors coming.
So good.
Yeah,
and this is the first Cobra Claw, right?
Oh,
I think so. Yeah, it's funny to see. It's funny to see the toys make their way in here. Just kind of knowing the history of them and stuff like that. So I guess yes, they did need to sell the Cobra Claw in '84. They gave it some prominence.
What's great about that is that's one of the things I love about the comic book so much is that you could tell he had a job, sell the toy, make a comic book, and he just made the comic book he wanted to make, and he worked around it, which I feel like almost every other comic book based on an action figure doesn't quite do that. It just doesn't quite meet that level of, I don't know. He had like a certain a seriousness about it, which was like way over my head as a kid. And that was like part of what made me love it so much is like it was a little over my head, and that's where you want to be as a kid. You want to be a little bit over your head,
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. It's funny, like looking at this again, there's things that I haven't picked up on, and it's like, okay, there's obviously Storm Shadow is piloting this thing and he's got a hostage, but the hostage has yellow boots. Who's that?
Nice.
But it's funny. Did you have the electronic store Fry's where you were, or like where you were Birdman or Destro?
No.
They must have been maybe just West Coast, because they would theme the stores, and the stores would be like twice as big as Costco, but they had one in San Jose that looked like this Cobra Castle, like on the outside, like without the Cobra signage. It was like it was more Egyptian, but I do dig the mix of tech and kind of old school castle in here.
Nice.
But it was fun. But yeah, digging into the actual story, we see Storm Shadow zooming in, and it's like, what an entrance, right?
I get the feeling he's interrupting Cobra Commander's party,
right? with something pretty important. It's hooded Cobra Commander, which was one of my favorite versions of Cobra Commander.
Well, that's good. That's a good question. Where do you stand? Do you prefer hooded or helmet?
So I think as far as the toys go, Battle Armor Cobra Commander was like my number one, because it was just balls out crazy, just like with all the like armor that he had. And then 2 was hooded, and then 3 was the standard helmet. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I like the hood. I mean, he looks creepy. He's creepy, but you need both because he needs to relax. He needs to, be home and chilling out, and
right,
helmet on all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I can gather it get kind of like sweaty in there too.
Yeah,
on all day. What about you, Birdman?
I think probably the helmet, because there's an issue coming up where he's talking about how badass his helmet is and how it's lined with C4 and all this other stuff. I'm just like, wow,
I love that. But yeah, it's funny, like up until this point, like every comic has had words in it, and so I'm like, now I'm really paying attention to like how the eyes are illustrated, or like where things are, where people are pointing and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I got to use like different senses now to get through this.
Look how fluid the claw is coming in, and the spire's doing the little like twerking dance type moves.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous. That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so he, I guess, is presenting his hostage to Cobra Commander, and she finally gets unwrapped and unveiled via a katana.
Yeah. You know what I'm noticing? The Cobra symbol is different.
Yeah.
It's very different. It's
Yeah.
just slightly off. It's more of a circle rather than like a little heart shape.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's Birdman was telling me, like, some things they're either illustrated or colored like differently from like comic to comic. And so I was like, okay, I can see how that could happen.
Weird.
But yeah, it's like you got hooded Cobra Commander, which you don't have a visual on his face, but it's like you can see his eyes, and then the way that he illustrates the like, oh, okay, Snake Eyes has done a good job. he's meeting with approval. But poor Scarlet, taken to a dungeon or something.
Like a sewer dungeon type thing.
Yeah, with a manhole cover. That's gotta suck. It's like, okay, this is gonna be your lot in life. But we do see a plane backlit by the moon, which was, I think it's a cool shot. And it's funny, like, as we're going through the issues that I've seen before, there's a lot going on in the background too. Like a lot of the character illustrations, they're not as, I don't want to say sophisticated, but there's less going on in the scenes in this one. And I don't know, maybe if that was just time, because he just had to draw something to kind of fill in the space. But I think it actually works for this particular issue, though.
I think he might be a control freak who probably secretly wanted to do it all, but wouldn't have the time. So to be able to do one, like, and just have it be purely his.
Yeah.
From layout to everything.
Oh, that's an interesting take on that one. I like that.
Because his storytelling, he is like, this visually storytelling is great.
Yeah. I mean, to have this going on in your head and then to be able to illustrate this is amazing. Like, I could think about Snake Eyes jumping out of a plane like this, but like to get this like illustrated and colored, I was like, holy crap.
Beautiful.
Okay, so here's the question: did Snake Eyes just arrange all this on his own? Because I always kind of got the impression like this was like he went rogue to do this,
right? Yeah,
and he just like either got a friend to fly him in, like, hey man, you owe me a favor, or he doctored up some papers to get it done. But my impression is like, dude, I'm doing this. I don't need to ask you. I'm doing it.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think with his character, that's what he would do.
Yeah, and it looks like he's taken a Halo type of approach, right? Because he hasn't even pulled his chute, and it looks like he's pretty close to the castle. But yeah, really, really cool scenes. And yeah, again, it's just like you could think of it as like it's the background is purple. It's like it's dusk, right? In there. As he's descending into the castle. Oh, then we flashed to poor Scarlet.
This is great.
Yeah, it's funny. Did you ever watch the Snake Eyes standalone movie that they did?
No, no.
Yeah,
I did too. I mean, I took it for what it was worth, but I kind of get reminded of one of the scenes where like all the snakes were surrounding him in that first panel of like, oh, that. I'm like that's where my head goes in that first panel.
That movie it's not the worst movie, but it's horrible for a Snake Eyes origin story, which shouldn't exist anyway. Right. But
we get that in a couple issues.
Yeah, like that's the origin. But you don't start with the origin story. You do that like later. We've already had his origin like 50 times too. It was like, I don't know. I love when you got the origin story as a kid, you knew Snake Eyes is this mysterious dude for like a long time who doesn't speak and doesn't have a face. And then all of a sudden, one day you get to know facts about him. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas they're trying to do it from the ground up. They're going to start with his origin. And it's like, okay, all mystery gone, completely uninteresting. And then they totally changed everything about the character. So By the way, Birdman, you'll be pissed if you watch that movie. I'm
I don't,
That's
certain
probably
things
why
I
it's
don't need to experience in life,
Yeah. However, the Scarlet was great.
She was awesome. She was really
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Birdman, if you like Zorana, you'll definitely you'll love Scarlet.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to watch it.
I know, right? Just put the story aside.
I have a daughter named Scarlet, which I did. I slipped it by my wife. I was like, what do you think of the name Scarlet? You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't tell her because I know if I told her it was a dork thing, she would be like, no, we're not naming our kid after a dorky toy.
It's from Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
The greatest novel ever written.
It's a pretty name. It's just a great name. I was like, no, we named her 100% after Scarlet from G.I. Joe. When she turns 50 and I'm getting her a crossbow.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's the
I
ultimate.
approve of this.
That's the ultimate. We got a question from Mother Slug. Curious, do you like Cobra Commander wearing a blue or navy blue or black outfit? It is a wardrobe question.
All the above?
Okay. Birdman says all the above.
Occasionally red, too.
Oh, red. Red's good.
Crimson. Yeah, Crimson Cobra Commander's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the crimson decos too.
Black would be maybe that's a little too Executioner hood.
Yeah.
Like a dark blue is good, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Joe Coleman sneaking in. Yo, Joe. Hey, Michael. Hey, what's up, Joe? We had last year actually got to meet Joe in person down. We went to WonderCon for the first time. So he lives down in Southern California. So Joe's fun, and his next door neighbor is the producer of the Motu Revolution and Revelation Netflix series. I was like, that blew my mind when I think he just found that out and put that together. It was kind of fun.
Nice. I just watched that today.
You did?
I watched Revolution today. Yeah, I finished.
Oh, that's awesome. First time?
I had seen Revelation when it came out, and then I just watched Revolution. Yeah.
Oh, fun. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed them. They weren't my favorite stories, but I got into the stories as they went on, and I just kind of I take things for what they are, and
yeah,
I enjoy them. All right. I mean, so it's funny. There's a Band-Aid on Scarlet, so it's I'm wondering, okay, one, who put that on her? And I don't imagine a lot of empathy or compassion in this makeshift dungeon, but you can see that Scarlet is willing to fight back by any means, biting his thumb.
This is kind of screwed up. If you think about it, he's she bit his thumb, and he's like, I'm just gonna kill her with it right now.
Right.
It's not that big. Not that bad of a deal.
It's a measured response.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe not. All right, a little overreaction.
Yeah, there you go.
So Storm Shadow got Scarlet to impress Cobra Commander. I mean, probably. But did he really just get Scarlet to get Snake Eyes there?
Very possible.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because one, did they remember each other? And I don't know what's coming. So this is a legitimate question for me.
And this is the first Storm Shadow that we ever had.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have a fun story about getting a carded Storm Shadow.
I already know it, but please share it.
Okay. There's a toy vintage toy shop that's 30 minutes away from me called Toy Safari, and the place is just wall to wall toys, and it's you have to look into every nook and cranny. It's so overwhelming that you just get really disoriented when you're in there. But I think this was maybe last Father's Day. I just went there because I just wanted to do something fun. And I saw this carded Storm Shadow in really good condition in the case. And so I called the person over and I was like, oh, just for kicks, how much is this? Because I knew I wouldn't be able to afford it. She was like, so she took it out. She's like, oh, it's $199.99. It was $199. And it was in really, really good condition. And so I was like, can you hold this, please? And so I, as a present to myself, I bought it, and I never got anything graded before, and so I immediately like packed it up and shipped it out to get it graded and stuff like that. But it came back as an 80, and I was actually going to flip it because I was like, oh, okay, I like Storm Shadow. I have the figure behind me loose, but now I'm looking at it going, I don't want to sell this. It was too cool, but yeah.
So did you keep it?
I did, yeah, I did, and then some other carded stuff, has that kind of sparked the whole like I'm gonna get toys that were meaningful me, like carded stuff that was meaningful to me, like if I remember my grandfather or my father or my parents bought it for me or something like that. So it was fun.
Nice. Was he yellowed inside the?
No, it's crystal clear. Like it's
okay, yeah.
Like I was like the Storm Shadow it's bright white. I don't know how this came back as an 80, but it's still good. I'll be I think maybe at the end I'll come grab it. But
most of those Storm Shadows now they're pretty yellow. Like I have one. He's they just for whatever reason.
Yeah. But yeah, poor Scarlet was about to get her head lopped off for biting Storm Shadow's finger. But man, she's chained down in there. But then we flash to this scene of Destro inside the castle.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's it's funny. I noticed the chess pieces later, but I just noticed that there's the chess pieces that are beside him in the second panel right there. But for a person who has a steel mask, I love that he can furrow the brows, he can squint. I mean, that's great, especially for a story with no words. You can tell his emotion right on the page. But
that's a big cartoon thing. That was his face moving all the time. Like,
yeah.
No sense whatsoever.
It didn't. Yeah. And I think I remember you talking about that, of just like stuff making no sense at all. Yeah. And it's like the vehicles, like the trouble bubble, for example, like how the heck could that thing fly, right?
You get in a trouble bubble, you're dying. You're not coming back.
But yeah, we have a Destro man in the security for the castle. So it's an interesting mix of tech and kind of old world architecture. We got Gady's toys in the house, Dreamboat Destro. Yes. Dreamboat Destro. I love it. All right, and then we have Snake Eyes parachuting, and is it nighttime? I don't know.
It's nighttime.
It's very starry all of a sudden.
Yeah, that Cobra's looking pretty damn cool.
That is really cool looking.
Yeah, they do need to HasLab the shit out of this thing.
It would be like $1,000, but I guess it's like what they knew Eternia was, right?
Like Eternia. Eternia was 500, I believe. So.
Oh, plus shipping.
We don't really talk about shipping. It's like extra stuff, right? That you don't tell the significant other because it's only $500.
Yeah,
like the cat's lair, right? That one, yeah. When shipping was all said and done, that was like $800 out the door.
Ouch.
Yeah.
What's really Hasbro saying they can't do some of these big things? I'm like, you totally can.
Yeah, you totally can. You just don't want to.
Yeah.
You just don't want to.
Would Destro, would you buy a HasLab classified scale USS flag?
Where are you gonna put it?
Stop thinking like an adult.
I think the only way you could do that is if it was a flip out bed. So you like, you have, just like you go to bed at night and you just flip it open and that's your bed. Because that's the only way you could say,
Yeah.
You're never having intercourse again with anybody. But or if you are, that they'll have to really love you because
you found your spirit person.
Yeah. You're not dating with that bed. You have to be in a very committed relationship.
Yeah. I was thinking as you were saying that like a Murphy situation would be fun. Like, okay, you build the HasLab into the wall and then you just take it down like a Murphy bed.
I still have mine, but I can't do anything with it. I have nowhere to put it. Can you imagine? So a 7.5 foot. How big would it have to be? It'd have to be like 12.
About 12, yeah.
15 feet.
Yeah,
12,
12 to
15 feet.
15.
12
Yeah,
would be
there's one guy, if
be
you look
big.
on Mega J Retro's channel, he did like some guy actually 3D printed a classified scale one, and I think it was 12 feet, and he did like a reaction to it. And I was like, holy crap.
insane.
That's insane. If I did actually want to knock Eternia off at some point, there is STL files for a 3D printed Terrordrome, which I would love to have, like classified scale. Like that would definitely displace Eternia. I'm like, I love He-Man, I love all that, but I'm willing to like push that one aside for that one. But yeah, we got Scarlet. I was saying, like, hiding in plain sight a bobby pin in her hair because it's also red. Like, they missed it. There's
This
no
is
metal
the worst
detector.
part of the comic. Sorry.
Right? There's no metal detectors in this compound.
This is the only dumb part of this comic book. This makes no sense whatsoever. They let her have a Barbie pin, whatever it is, in her hair. Come on.
Yeah.
What kind of ninja? That's some bad ninja ink from Storm Shadow.
And to give so much freedom with the hands too, like when they're chained down. I agree with that one. But Gatey's Toy said, despite being a damsel in distress, Scarlet has some great moments in this issue.
Yeah, she does technically get away on her own,
right? Yeah,
that's true. That's true. And then we got Snake Eyes doing Snake Eyes things. He's doing his ninja things. I love the steampunk goggles that this Cobra Trooper has. Kind of fun.
Oh yeah, there's like night goggles, probably. I guess.
Yeah, it's like Snake Eyes has goggles. He's got goggles. They have something in common, as he's gonna descend on him and, do what he does to him. So
great.
Here come the chess pieces again, and it's funny because when I first saw this, I was like, when did Duke and Rock and Roll get there? And I was like, oh wait, I mean Hawk and Rock and Roll get there. I was like, oh wait, these are chess pieces. And oh my
Destro still thinks the Baroness is dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
He's having some G.I. Joe uncensored thoughts about that chess piece right now.
I love that. I love that.
There's a whole Facebook group called G.I. Joe Uncensored. Are you guys in it?
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that one. Yeah.
And it's like 85% absolutely filthy Baroness memes.
Oh, see, Birdman,
and a couple Zoranas.
You're gonna start to push it like 1% Zorana.
No, I never had the hots for the Baroness.
Zorana.
She always kind of scared me as a kid.
No.
That's why she's so hot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all I can hear is her cartoon voice. That's wrong. But I just noticed there's a chess piece of Quinn down here. So
and Dr. Venom. Dr. Venom's right there.
Right. He's in a blue suit though. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Birdman and I talk about this quite often. G.I. Joe classified scale, Dr. Venom. They need a Quinn, but I think the company who's probably going to make that first in O-ring scale is Super 7. So,
yeah, I'm more interested in more 6-inch, definitely.
Yeah. Do you like what Super 7's doing with the O-ring line? I guess if you enjoy the cartoon, maybe, but maybe not.
I love the Ramar and the Fatal Fluffies thing.
Yeah,
but it's just like it's too much for me. It's like every figure they come out with 100 figures a day, and it's like everything's so expensive, and so for me it's like do I want to go back and do the 3 3/4 inch? I probably will only get Ramar and the Fatal Fluffies. Like I'm only gonna get I still have everything, so I'm not gonna get anything I have again. Like I don't need Serpentor. I don't even think their Serpentor is as good as the original Serpentor, because the original Serpentor has some nice gold paint.
Yeah.
And theirs is a very like yellowy. I don't know. I don't like that Serpentor much.
Like a mustard.
Yeah, it's not good.
But Quinn. All right, so classified scale Quinn, classified scale Dr. Venom, which I would say be great for like PulseCon, Comic Con, any con. But that Cold Slither 4-pack, oh my gosh, like
Oh yeah,
that's freaking insane.
yeah. If they do Dr. Venom, they got to give them the brainwave scanner.
Oh yeah,
that he's got to come with that. So that's got to be like a deluxe set.
there you go.
You know.
There you go. All right, but yes, Birdman brought up a great point. We got Destro looking longingly at Baroness because he thinks he's gone, and a different Cobra symbol as well on the Baroness. Like, okay, good. That was a good call out, Birdman. All right, and then we got Scarlet wrapping Snake Eyes, wrapping Storm Shadow with a chain.
So badass.
Oh my gosh, pretty badass.
So badass.
How she gets out of this is pretty spectacular.
How does Storm Shadow not have like a massive headache after getting slammed in the face with that cover?
Yeah.
I remember this was like love for me, you know. I was like, come on. It's the coolest badass woman you've ever seen, you know. It was like before, there wasn't that many badass like superhero girls then. There was Princess Leia, of course, and there was, you know, your superheroes, but it wasn't as common, you know. So
yeah. We got Doris sneaking in here, ninja powers, and we got Mother Slug, rubber chains. There we go. Yeah, that's how she got out so fast. But yeah, I mean, he has to go get slammed down like onto the concrete somewhere, and he's probably bouncing off that platform that she was on, and then he tries to go get her and then gets slammed in the head. That's pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. Where? All right, where am I on here? I always lose what panel.
oh yeah.
Here we go. All right, there we go. All right, all right, here we go. All right, now we're back outside. Snake Eyes again is doing his ninja things.
Some two Cobra dudes get the drop on him.
Yes.
And just as they're training their AKs, he pulls out a knife, throws it at one, and then backhands the other guy.
Jeez.
So good.
That's nuts. And you see the dagger just sticking out of one of the Cobra dudes down there. It's nuts.
This is what I love about Snake Eyes is like when he kills, it's like he's less superhero, more Jason. It's like he's just like going through the castle and slowly stalking and killing people from behind. You know, it's like,
yeah.
Remember that? So good. Yeah.
There we go. That's what's playing in my head right now. All right, we're still outside, and he makes quick work of one of the soldiers and just tosses him outside all the way. That castle's big. That castle's huge. Yeah, poor guy. And then Destro is like, "What the f is going on here?" Could you imagine? Like, I have a window here, and I'm like, like I'd be like, "What the f? What the?"
Can imagine the Wilhelm scream right there.
Then he's like, "All right, let's go investigate." Right.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and then Snake Eyes doing a little distraction. He's got goggles on top of goggles. Just nice. But he's got one just what? Oh, is he dangling off of there?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's really nuts. But I mean, good on him. It's like it's stealthy. He can think quick on his feet, like, and get dressed in a jiff. Like, that's pretty cool. Door.
Do you think he left the guy there, or do you think he cut the rope and let him fall?
Yeah.
Right.
It is weird.
Take some bets. What do you think, Destro?
It's weird he's merciful to that one guy.
Yeah.
That guy. Because he
But-
just killed like 7 people. Well,
Right. But Birdman's question in your head, what would Snake Eyes do here? Would he cut him loose and let him fall, or would he leave him dangling?
I think it'd be more efficient to just go on because the guy can't get loose.
Yeah. They already know he's there, right? We got Hot Rod 2188 slipping in. Yeah, great issue. It definitely was. Off panel, that one guy told him he has killed 7 kids in Cinesicon.
My mom's name is Martha.
I love it. All right, and we are flashing back to Storm Shadow, and now he's called more ninjas. We got red ninjas in the house, so this is becoming a circus of ninjas at the moment.
And is it just a thing where ninjas just hang upside down from the ceiling, just hanging out? Like,
Yeah. They're like bats, right?
Yeah. This is the first Red Ninjas moment? I think it is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I've been keeping track of where ninjas show up, and they have not showed up a ton in these first issues.
Because somebody on the stream hates ninjas.
I'm not a fan of ninjas. I will admit.
Come on.
I know. I know it. I know they're going to be a big part, but you know what? Maybe I will turn around once I get into more of these issues, because when I'm looking at the early night and the late 80s and 90s and what they did with those ninjas, I'm like, in the toys, I'm like,
Let me tell you, if it turns you around, it might turn you around one way. It's going to turn you right around the other by the end of the run. Because by the end of the run, it is ninjas all the time, ninjas every day.
Oh, great!
And it's really not good.
Comes full circle.
I mean, I love the comic, but towards the end, it is like all about the ninjas.
All right. Well, so this Daniel Birdman, is this why you got me into this to kind of like?
No, because I could not continue to be friends with you if you did not experience this.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right, we got red.
And just to go back to the whole ninja thing and Larry Hama. Larry Hama did a lot of ninja stuff with Wolverine there too.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely got a fetish for some ninjas.
He had that Nth Man comic.
Yeah. He did that. That was all him.
Loves them, and he does like does a little sword play as well. Seen some footage of him.
So does Durana.
Oh boy, don't get him started.
We really get to Zorana issues.
Oh geez. Uh-oh. You might, Birdman, you might just have to lead those ones. It's funny because sometimes he'll just make up dialogue, and it's funny because I'm reading it on screen and I'm like, they're not saying that, but it's funny as hell. And he does all the lady voices too in the comics, which is fun. So, like the damsel in distress lady voice. So we got the Claw appearing again with a couple Cobra soldiers, and she's got to be also really strong to carry around that chain. I remember if you watch WWF back in the day, Hercules Hernandez, he had that chain that he would just swing around the ring. Yeah. I was like, that thing looked really heavy.
That's a good move though. That is a good action movie move. Love it.
Yeah. One wrapping around the guy's neck, the other one clobbing him in the back.
Yeah.
Jeez. And the smile on her face as she's taken off in the Claw, which she knows how to operate.
Of course.
like she's been in one before.
So, okay. Trouble Bubble or Claw? Which would you prefer in real life?
Oh, in real life?
Oh, Claw.
Claw.
Interesting. One of my favorite. I know it's crazy, but I would prefer a Trouble Bubble, even though I would go down in burning flames in it just to ride it once.
It's true. Yeah, actually, I think I'm more scared to ride. I wouldn't know what to do with a claw, but I just feel like you get in trouble while it's coming down. Like it
Yeah,
just,
it's pretty fast.
just doesn't make any sense at all.
Mother Slug. Oh my, yes, Hercules was amazing. Rest in peace. Think how heavy the claw is compared to that chain. Yes, it's pretty heavy. Yeah, and yeah, to operate one of those things too. That's you got to have some strength with that. All right, now we got some ninja action going on with the red ninjas descending on Snake Eyes. So the ninja circus ensues.
They're still going with the hanging it from the ceiling thing.
Right, right. I mean,
but he just grabs that cover and just takes him out like a pimp.
it's crazy. Yeah, it's like swooping in, ducks him, and then you got to be. All these guys have to be super strong. I guess there's not a lot to do in the pit.
Yeah,
like pump iron. They probably it's like this is what they have for like kettlebells, right? For stuff like this. But he makes quick work of the ninja, which I like. One less ninja in the issue, which is good. Flatten him.
This is such a good panel.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When I saw this, I was like, wow, that's awesome. It's like Birdman, you'll like this. You know what this scene reminds me of?
No.
Okay. Indiana Jones, when the guy's wielding the sword.
Yes.
And he just pulls out a pistol and caps. I got the same vibes of just like, okay, I'm going to show you my awesome ninja skills, but you know,
whatever, boom, you know.
Yeah, I brought a grenade. Yeah, it's like, yeah, whatever, boom. I brought a grenade to a sci-fight.
But I mean, isn't that kind of like how Snake Eyes is? He's like, dude, I can kill you 1,000 different ways, and it's all the same to me.
But the blowing up of the ninja is pretty epic because it's like, well, when you have the size, you know, obviously are getting blown away, but then you just have dust.
Yeah, he's gone.
God, it's just like poof. It's like that drummer from Spinal Tap, Stumpy Pete, who just like spontaneously combusted. But we have ninjas around every corner, right? We got
not for long.
We got Storm Shadow coming in.
Love the choreography of this bit.
So he catches the little mace ball, wraps the chain around the guy's neck, spins him around to get the sword from Storm Shadow, and then jumps over Storm Shadow like Obi-Wan Kenobi or something.
Love
that. And kicks him in the face.
Yeah. This might have been the moment he became my favorite character of all time, you know.
Snake Eyes?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. So you're a fan of the whatever umpteenth version of Snake Eyes that they're making, right? Like it's like if he's your favorite, do you
No, I don't, because I actually like the first two versions, and then that's all you need. I don't need the blue version. I don't like the blue version.
Chunky polar bear.
I do want the polar bear. I do really want the polar bear. But I don't want the blue guy, and I don't need desert camo Snake Eyes. Yeah. I might get the third one. If they come up with Snake Eyes 3. He's got the trench knives on his chest.
Oh yeah,
got some good weapons.
It's so funny because they just did the digital render for version 4, and everybody's like, "Where's 3? Like, when's that coming?" They just
love 4. 3. I didn't like 4. He had a stupid.
I know, yeah, I didn't either. Like paintball Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Mother Slug is picking up on the illustration. Is like, are those practice size no blades? It's like they're like blunted on the end of the tips. It's kind of funny. And he says, "Who are the red Cobra ninja in training ninjas?"
You would think they'd be able to bat away that grenade, you know, and the grenade's coming right at you, catch it, you know, do something.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh yeah, this is where he hops over him, and yeah, that's pretty crazy. And we got Scarlet buzzing around the castle and like, okay, she's got to take it for a spin, which is fun. Oh my gosh, the look on her face is priceless here. She's like, woo. Like she said, well, like one, she spots Snake Eyes, and like two, she looks like she's having a great time on that claw. Which is fun.
Yeah.
And we got another showdown with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I love the illustration of like just between the leg shot. You know, you can imagine like this is it's like cinematography here, right?
It really is. It's a great storytelling. You can even get a sense of the lighting, you know, coming from that door, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
It is cool. And then and even the look on Scarlett's face when she's trying to like land the thing seems like it'd be pretty hard to do too.
So cool.
But yeah, this is a great panel here. Like, I mean, the whole scene is pretty damn cool.
Is Storm Shadow upset that he thinks he's going to kill Scarlet at this point?
Is he upset?
I mean, how do you read those eyes? Are you reading those as like, oh crap, I'm going to hit her instead of him? Or is it like, yes, I'm finally going to kill you?
Yeah, I think he's trying to kill him, but then later on, if you figure out what happens, does that add up? Maybe not.
I think, I don't know. Have you shot something or like had something where you can keep an eye on it for a distance like that? I think he's really just paying attention to like where this thing's gonna hit. That's how I'm reading it, and like this is the cool thing about having no words on this. It's like you can have your own interpretation of what the heck's going on. But Snake Eyes, he palms the thing, and just chucks it over the head. But yeah,
it's such a cool. It's like he came to rescue her, didn't. She got free. Then she comes to rescue him, and she didn't. He didn't need it.
Almost dies.
Yeah, it's like it's weird.
But it's funny. Her in the middle panel at the bottom, it's like she has this like very docile look and is accepting like, okay, or no, I guess she's like, oh, his hands are saving me. So it's like, is she accepting her death there? No. She's relieved. But yeah, Snake Eyes tosses it over their heads and does away with the sword, and they get whisked away on the claw. But I will let you gentlemen talk about what's going on here.
It's a big reveal.
Snake Eyes has got his shirt sleeve torn, and Storm Shadow's got his little arm bandages off, and it's like, what the deal?
Yeah. Well, when you got to this last page as a kid, did you make a connection to that, or was it just something that was kind of illustrated part of the story and you just kind of moved on?
In my mind, they were like twin brothers separated at birth, because you gotta have this elaborate story, when you're 8 years old,
Yeah, my mind was blown, man. Yeah, but that's true. Yeah, it probably was not. It was not what happens. It was something else. But mine was blown.
That's awesome. Yeah. So this is where it's like, I wish I had read these or just like flipped through the pages as a kid, because like my kid brain and my adult brain are very different. I want to keep them one and the same, but I just sometimes can't. But
this is also pre-1980, Empire Strikes Back, right? So when was Empire Strikes Back?
This is 1980. This is after.
Yeah.
Okay. 1980. All right. So this is after. So, but it wasn't like to the point where it was like everybody's a cousin or a brother or a sister. It was like now I think when they do it, it's like laughable, because it's like, oh, everybody's brother in every media franchise ever. They're your father or your sister. It was like. I feel like this connection thing hadn't been done that many times. It's been done, other than Empire Strikes Back, so it was like it had that feeling.
And Spaceballs.
It's Spaceballs, yeah.
That's funny. Mother Slug, who cut Snake Eyes' arm at what point? I don't know. Maybe the thrust of the claw taking off just kind of tore his suit a little bit. But yeah, it's funny. I saw an interview on YouTube with Larry Hama, and I guess he was kind of telling a little bit about how he writes, and he's like, I don't like to think ahead, and he got to the end of the story and both of their sleeves were torn, and he said, oh, wouldn't that be cool if they had the same tattoo? And it's like to have that go on in your head and to like make that, especially in an issue like this, that's pretty damn cool.
And then have it work out and be like an iconic thing that people tattoo on themselves all the time now. That's so crazy.
That is crazy. That's nuts. But that's nuts. I mean, like, there's so much impact this one issue had just on several levels, right? It's one, there's no words. That's one. And two, it's like, was this kind of the kickstart of the ninja kind of bringing like full on into G.I. Joe?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and Destro said like Larry loves Snake Eyes. Yeah, he does. But and Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, I mean, central characters until the very end at this point. I mean, that's going to be it. And you're going to learn the backstory. And you keep Stalker in there, which I like. But Scarlet, despite all the characters to come after the fact, it still goes back to Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Scarlet, Stalker. Till it's 155.
Yeah. Even did you read the IDW run?
I did not, but
I mean the Larry Hama's version of it, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still pumping away at Snake Eyes stories. He still shows very little interest in it's good. It's still good. It does feel sometimes like the Rolling Stones playing their new stuff instead of their greatest hits. It's like he's good, and he's ninja. It's lots of ninjas. You would not love it, Michael. It's all ninja all the time.
I do. I mean, I do have love for Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Don't get me wrong, but it's like all the other ninjas that come in, like the toy line. I was like,
Slice and Dice. Come on, man.
I do like
the Slapshot Brothers. I'll probably buy them in classified series if they came out. Like if they're doing the stuff like Crystal Ball, like that was pretty damn cool what they did with Crystal Ball. Like they took a very mediocre figure and just made it spectacular.
Oh, the Slice and Dice they have coming looks amazing. It is gorgeous. It's one of the best things they've ever done, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. Our on our usual like stuff that we do with Toy Habits, we do like to leak a lot of body parts and whatever. So we'll find like, all the body parts. And man, the Joe team has a very massive leak situation going on right now with all of their stuff. But it's fun. Okay, that's a good point. I do like Quick Kick too. So,
I never liked Quick Kick.
Oh, damn. All right.
I love Quick Kick. Larry does not like Quick Kick.
Did he kill him off very fast?
Yes. Well, he lets him do nothing. He shows up in like 2 issues and he gets his ass kicked by Storm Shadow.
Shit. All right.
Spoiler alert. He gets his ass kicked pretty easily. So he's not, he doesn't.
Cartoon loved him.
Cartoon loved him. Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, he kicks the crap out of Storm Shadow.
Yeah. And I think that's where like the longevity of some of the characters that I know lasted a heck of a lot longer than I guess what I'll see in the comic then. So this was fun, and Birdman, you were right to just go through this issue. It's funny because like we had a conundrum because it's like we did a couple issues, and then we were left with that clutch standalone issue
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the last one, and we're like, well, what the hell do we do with that? We'll just do a standalone, stream on that one, and then we'll save, this one.
That clutch issue coming off of Quinn's death and Scarface's death and Dr. Venom's death. That clutch issue is like a total throwaway. But then you get to this, which is a total one-off, but it sets the stage for everything. It's so much better than that clutch issue. But
Yeah.
I agree. But this was really fun, and I'm glad that I'm glad that you had the idea to bring Destro as my spirit animal on, because one, I love meeting people that I've never met before on YouTube, and it's just fun to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, thank you. This is my first one that I've been on. So
fun.
First,
okay.
Yeah, it's first podcast.
You don't do a lot of live streams.
No, I did one, and then I tried to do one last week, but I was
You got a copyright claim.
Yeah, I got
kicked
kicked off.
Did? What happened?
I was trying to play the drug dealer episodes, Headman episodes of the Deke cartoon, which are hilarious because he's just selling blow on the streets to children and stuff. It's amazing. And it's the worst cartoon. It's got to be one of the worst cartoons.
It's horrible. I had never seen it before, so thank you for that.
Well, I tried playing it, and apparently you can't do that. I didn't know, because I thought they would just usually, if you put something they don't like, they will just demonetize it.
Yeah,
that's what I found, and I'm like, wait, I don't care if they demonetize it, fine, whatever. But they kicked me off.
Wait, they actually booted you off your own live stream?
Well, they killed the live stream, so no one could see or hear anything until I deleted the video.
Oh wow!
I deleted the Deke videos they let me resume, but at that point it was like, okay, well, there was like 10 minutes of black,
yeah,
and then and the whole purpose, we couldn't really watch it. We sort of, a few people stayed on. We tried to watch it in another browser, but I was like getting paranoid they're gonna really copyright strike me or something. So
yeah. But that's actually how Soundtracks with Birdman and I met. I think when I had 8 subscribers or something, he's like, oh, why don't you come on my show and we'll watch movies. And the way that he did it was you watch it off screen, you have an earpiece and you can kind of you listen to the movie, and then we talk about the movie and the soundtrack and what it means and stuff like that. And that was really fun.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. I gotta learn. I guess it was not my smartest moment. But
yeah. I mean, I don't know all this stuff either. Besides this, my other half of Toy Habits, the Toy Sorceress, and I, we just do a weekly live stream, and that's pretty much it. So, that's fun. I used to do a lot of recorded videos, but I just not a lot of time to do that.
Yeah. But I might start doing more though. That's kind of fun. It's fun. So, yeah, thanks.
It is fun. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're welcome. Welcome back anytime. And it's funny because I can't live stream alone. It's I need somebody with me. I'm not good at just talking into a camera with at people.
Yeah, I think sometimes doing it, I'm like, yeah, I think we use somebody else. That might be. It's a little lonely,
Yeah, but I'm happy to pinch hit or whatever if you need somebody to bounce stuff off of too. But
definitely,
yeah. See, I would rather live stream than do something pre-recorded.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Yeah. I think our normal show that we do on Fridays, it gets about 200 to 300 people are in the chat. Are just on, and so it gets really spicy with people. And then you got the Birdman coming in with his Zorana zingers, and but it's fun. All right, so it's I don't know what's coming, and I never do because I never read ahead. So we got what issues 22 and 23 coming up, if I'm doing my elementary school math right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You have mathemacated correctly.
Yeah. Hot Rod 2188, appreciate your time. Thanks for the content. it's fun, and it's like the best part. Like the toys are cool, like the comic books are cool, but it's like I love meeting other people who do this too, so it's fun.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, do you want to tell everybody who are, Toy Habits viewers where they can find you and kind of what you're about?
Oh yeah, so it's YouTube. Destro is my spirit animal, and
Such a great name.
thanks. I talk about I talk about GI Joe. I'm branching out a little bit. I've started doing a mythology series where I'm going through.
I like that series, by the way. Keep that up.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing. I did Visionaries, Mask, GI Joe.
Oh, Mask. Yes.
And then I'm about halfway through Inhumanoids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Love Inhumanoids. Yeah. That's the next one. So Inhumanoids, and then I'm gonna try to do He-Man, but it's so much. There's so much to learn.
Yeah, if you ever
so
need
good.
a tag team partner for He-Man, like most of the stuff that we talk about on our regular show is Masters related, because I think that's if you're not
no. Oh man.
There he is in Humanoids.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
I want one bad.
Mask,
I don't have one, but I want one bad.
anything Mask, anything. So Mask is actually my favorite toy line, hands down. GI Joe is second. We do talk about Masters quite a bit because that's the bulk of our website traffic and viewers are into Masters, and it's like they're Masters. Like Origins and Masterverse, like that, Mattel is killing it right now with them, and we actually get the most leaks of information about Masters of the Universe. So a lot of people tune in to find out what's coming even before Mattel releases them officially. So yeah, our claim to fame is we got a cease and desist from Mattel once, which we'll never forget and we'll never do again. But hey. But that's awesome. Yeah, I did watch the Mask video too.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I love Mask. Mask is up there for me too.
Damn cool. So
Air Raiders, anybody?
Oh yeah, totally.
It's all right. You got a lifelong viewer in soundtracks with Birdman with your lineup.
Nice. Yeah. Working on sectors too. So that's
my gosh. I'm looking at two of them on my shelf right there. Fun stuff. Awesome. It was fun. This was fun, Birdman. That was a great suggestion. Yeah, we've never had a special guest for this comic reaction series, so we will have you on again if you're open to it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was nice to meet you guys. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, this was fun. You got any closing words, Birdman, before we sign off?
Thank you, Destro, for coming on. I do just want to say Major Blood was a way better character than Destro. But personal opinions are just facts. So hey. As always, adopt, don't shop, keep listening to great film music. Thank you again, Destro, for coming on. I can't wait for your Inhumanoids episode. I will definitely give it a thumbs up and leave a comment.
There we go.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, we will see you next week or whenever we get to issue 22 and 23, and hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you here. Bye, y'all.
See you later.